Hello. Okay, today we're going to work on the second side. We have the first side finished, all of these pages, and so we're going to work on this side. Now, I hope you've gone ahead and filled in some of your pages with at least just the background papers, and we'll start putting some fun things on it now. This last page, what I'm going to do, and I'll show you how to do this, is I haven't put a paper on here yet, but I have cut a black base page for it. And I'm going to show you how to make, using all of your scraps, I'm going to show you how to make a really pretty, just something different, a different kind of paper, and it's going to have all different kinds of papers that you've used throughout your book, and they're going to be layered in here, and then these edges will be cut off, and then we'll glue it in here. But I'm going to show you this later. I have other things that I have prepared for you that we're going to go ahead and do. So let's get started in that. Let me put that aside. And so when I'm starting, I started from the front. We already had the front finished, and I have a blue one on here, and then I matched the blue, did a pink, matched the pink, did a blue, and then did a solid. So one of them, it's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's the fourth one from my right. I went ahead and put one of their clock pictures on here and a butterfly, and so that's just going to be that page. And if someone wants to go ahead and put pictures over that, that's just fine. I did have, here it is. I cut a 3 by 5 piece of paper to kind of give me an idea of a picture. Because what I want to do is, I've cut this little piece that says Dwell in Possibilities, and I've smudged it. And I am going to kind of glue that down here. I'm not going to glue all of the edges, just kind of make it almost like a pocket. And then I'm also going to glue parts of this rose up here. So if you turn this over, you can draw your lines where you want your glue to go, and then don't glue inside of here. And that's the first thing I'm going to go ahead and do, is I'm going to go ahead and put glue outside of my drawn lines. And I want this to be pretty close to the edges as I can get it without going over. And this can be a little tricky. So I'm going to put that in there for now until I get these edges kind of burnished down. And then I'm going to pull that out, make sure that it doesn't adhere where I don't want it to. So once I've done that, I'm going to let that dry for just a little bit, because I don't want this picture to get stuck up in there and not be able to come down. So let's go ahead and leave that. The other thing that I want to do is I want to make, it's going to be bigger than this. This is not to size, but I want to make a page that will flip open like this, and then we're going to add some that open up this way. So we're going to go ahead and work on that too. I think this might be dry enough. I'm going to push this up into there. And then again, I'm going to go ahead and just put a little bit of glue on my edges, like that. And I'm not going to push it clear up to the picture. I'm going to push it down to the bottom so that there's quite a bit of space. Let's go ahead and move that over just a little bit. There we go. And so see, you could put a picture in and then change it if you wanted to. Put a different picture in that bottom. That's up to you. And I'm just going to leave it like that. And when I give this to the person, I will put a little sticky note in here that kind of tells them what this can be used for. I might even just put this in here and write the note right on here and say you can put a picture under here using these as frames. So, the next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and work on, this one next. And I have decided that I'm going to leave it the 11 inches long, but I am going to cut it. And basically how I'm going to cut it is the shortest piece next to it. So here we go. There's my ruler. Let me put my pin back in my glue so it doesn't dry off. So, and the reason I'm going to do that is when I put this in here and I close this book, I don't want this showing outside of this. So I only want it to be as large or even just a little bit smaller. So this is our 7-inch. So we could cut this at 6 7/8. So let's go ahead. For my page, it's 6 7/8. I don't know what size y'all are using. If you're putting it on a different, oh, there it is. If you're putting it on a different page, for example, I'm putting it on this page, so I measured the smallest size on this page. If you want to put it on this page, then you measure the smallest size on this page and make it 1/8 of an inch smaller. So we're going to do 6 7/8 on this. And I'm going to have to open up my cut and scoreboard so that I can find big enough. And again, I want to keep the length, the 11-inch length, but I'm going to go ahead and put this at 6 7/8. Oh, I will keep that for one of my connecting pieces. All right, so the next thing, I've gone ahead and I found out how much I want to score this. And yeah, I want to score 3.5 inches on each side. So I'm going to lift this up, push my paper. Now you want your 11-inch side going on the top. So I'm going to find my 3.5 and I'm going to score. And then I'm just going to flip it and do 3.5 on this side. Okay. And let's go ahead and close those. And so we've made kind of a little open book that opens this way. So the next thing that I want to do is I do want to go ahead and I want to put a page coming up here and perhaps one coming down there. So I'm going to go ahead and measure across here and find out how wide that is, and it is exactly 4 inches. So I'm going to cut this at 4 inches. And then I don't want it to go over here. So well, first of all, let's go ahead and score 1/2 inch so that we have our attaching piece. So I'm going to score that first. And I'm going to fold it. And then I'm going to put it up against there and see how far down I want it to come. I don't even want it to come to the level of the other page. So I'm going to take it up about 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut that. And this is where tick marks come in really handy. We're using your tick marks, they're really great. Okay, so that will go right here. And this will go here. Now I want to make another one just exactly this size. So let me find a black piece of paper. And I know that I cut this at 4 inches, so I'm going to cut another one at 4 inches. And I could measure this just to see how tall it is. It's 7 inches. So let's cut this at 7 inches and then we will score it on the 1/2 inch mark. There we cut. I'm going to hold this tight and I'm just going to score it right there. Okay, and fold that. So now I can put this away for now until we decide we're going to decorate. I have really enjoyed these We Are Memory Keepers boards. They're quite nice. Okay, I'm going to move this out of the way for us for now. And I'm going to bring these. We're going to work on these for now. And the first thing that I want to do with this is I do want to cut a little angle off of this. And I'm going to cut a little angle off of this one. Just a small triangle. Okay. So those are for another project. The other thing you might want to do is take your corner rounder and round your edges. And these don't need smudged. The black doesn't generally need smudged, but your decorative papers that you're going to put on here, you'll want to smudge. So I am doing all of my open corners. I won't do the folded corners, but anything that's at an edge corner, I will soften like that. There we go. So then after we've done that, I want to go ahead and glue these pieces in. And to do that, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of, let's go ahead and burnish these down so that we have nice crisp edges, first of all. Okay, and I'm going to burnish these edges for my tags, my tabs. Okay, so I open this up and I'm going to put glue just on my tab. And I'm going to put this at the bottom. And I want to make sure that I don't bind my corner, my folds. And once I have it where I want it, I'm going to go ahead and burnish it down. Oh, God, folks, sometimes you'll hear me, I'll be talking about, let's burnish our edges. This is smudging, and just, you know, kind of go, oh, that's Carla, she means smudging. So if I say, let's burnish these edges, and I have my ink out, that we're smudging it. I'm sorry, I get so taken up with being busy with having a good time that sometimes my words come out funny. Okay, so let's go ahead, and on the other side we're going to do the other page. So I'm going to put glue on that. And again, I am going to go ahead and put this in here. And I want to make sure that these two are kind of even. So I'm not pushing this down until I get this to the point. And I have to move it over just a little bit. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to burnish with my bone folder and open it. There we go. So now you'll want to go ahead and decorate this. And You can decorate this however you want. You can just put pretty papers on here. You can put pockets. You could put fancy things on. I'm going to leave that up to you. That's a personal choice. But what I do want to show you is once you have this finished, decorated, then we will want to glue that on here. Yeah, on here. This one is the one we're doing. And I'm probably going to glue it a little bit closer to the bottom than I leave at the top. And I know it feels sad covering up all that pretty paper, but don't worry. It's still a beautiful piece of work, piece of artwork. So, the last thing I want to show you is how to make this page, if you want to make this page. This one you can just decorate with pretty little things however you want to. Leave enough room for a picture. You could put something down at the bottom that you could use. Let's see, I thought I had, yeah. You could put a saying down here if you want, but leave some room for pictures and just make it pretty. So the last thing that I want to show you is how to make a piece. Now I had a piece cut for this, didn't I? Oh, did I use it? I used it. So I have to cut another one. Okay, that's all right. So we know that it is 4 3/8 wide. So let's go ahead and cut that 4 3/8 wide. And then that last piece is, the tallest part is 8.5, correct? Yeah. So let's cut it at 8.5. And I think this is an 8.5 sheet, so it doesn't have to be cut. Yes. It is. Okay, so the only thing we have to do is we will mark 1/2 inch from the top on one side. And then we're going to go ahead and cut that. Now, this is actually going to make it, no, I don't want to cut that way. I want this to come down from the big end. This is going to make it actually be about perfect, and I don't want it perfect. I want it to be a little bit smaller. It's smaller on these sides. So you see, if I pull this down to where I want it, it leaves a gap down here. So I'm going to mark that, and then I will cut. It's always easier to cut the straight edge than it is to keep cutting your angle, because you could start getting your angle just off tremendously. So I'm going to go ahead and put that here. And I'm going to take off, that's almost 1/4 inch. Not quite. Okay, and then I'm going to check it again to make sure. I will lay it up there. Yes, and I have a little bit of edge around. And it's not critical because your chipboard is black and your paper is black, but I do want to do the best I can to keep it the same. All right, so what I have done with this is I have cut just a few strips, and I am going to start. Now you could start at the top and work your way down. You glue them in, smudge them, glue them in, smudge them. You can do that if you like, but I'm actually going to be a little bit of a rebellious girl, and I'm going to, let's cut this blue off. Now, I'm going to start this way. What I do want to warn you about is you don't want to put one edge on the edge, because then you have this black. You want to make sure that you have the entire page covered with your piece. So I'm going to go ahead and smudge this entire section of this quote, and then I'm going to glue it, and I'm going to put it what my grandmother used to call cocky wampus. which was crooked. She's a cute little Irish lady. And so I'm just going to put it like, about like that. And I did put too much glue on it. So I'm going to turn it over and burnish everything down really well. And then I'm going to cut off that edge. I'm going to cut it even with my base paper. And you can use scissors for this. So that's going to be my first one. As I go along, I will burnish each piece. I think I want this one. And I'm just going to burnish two edges. You don't actually have to burnish these small edges because most of them are going to get cut off. And so then I might eyeball this and find out how long that's going to be. And then I will put glue on here. I push it up against, making sure, oops, that is not wanting to play nice with me today. There we go. Making sure it gets kind of butted up as close as you can, plus also making sure that you have all of your black covered on each edge. Now you can cut these off as you go, or you can cut them off a big bunch at a time. Sometimes I'll get 3 or 4 and then I'll cut. So this is a personal preference, you do you. Once you have several of these on, I'm going to show you how to, we will just burnish the edges, smudge the edges. So I'm going to go ahead and smudge this one for now. I don't have to do the edges. Remind myself I don't have to do the edges, they get cut off. I'm going to glue, and a lot of times I'll just lay it here and then I kind of know how far up to make my glue. And then I will put my edges together. Make sure that they kind of flow over the side a bit. There we go. I'm ready for another one. What do I have? I'm going to do the other side of this. And this is just a nice way to use up all of those little scraps that you have no clue what you're going to do with later. And I will push. And see how I made sure that I got that cover cornered? It falls over. Yeah, I'm going to burnish all of these for now. Now, I had shown you a really pretty piece of glitter paper, this glitter paper, and I do want to use some of this glitter paper. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a little piece of glitter paper, and I think I'm going to make it, this first piece, I'm going to make about 1/4 of an inch wide. Not very wide, just a little bit. And you can make it as wide or as thin as you like. My next one, I will use a thicker piece of this. But again, you want to go ahead and smudge those edges so that the white doesn't show up. So this one, what I'm going to do is I'm putting the one corner, the lowest corner, on it, and I'm measuring up. I'm going to keep my thumb about where the edge is here, because this one, I don't need a whole lot of glue, but I am going to try and put it on here. And then I will push this now. Don't get worried if it doesn't line up properly perfectly. It's okay if some of that black is shining through. That won't hurt anything. See, like in between these, I have some black showing through. It's not a big deal. So I'm going to go ahead and cut all the ones that I have on here so far. Yep. And this you just have to take your time with when you're cutting these off of here. So I'm going to let you finish this, but I am going to show you, once you have the entire page covered, then you will take your ink and you will just go along all of the sides the whole way around to make sure that these are all smudged up nicely. And once you've done that, then you're ready to just glue the entire piece onto the back here. So I'm going to let you go ahead and finish this one. I will come back tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but the next time in 2 days when we have another video, and we'll talk about some more little things. But I hope you've enjoyed this. We've done quite a bit today. We have almost a half an hour done, but we've done quite a bit. And remember, you get to decorate this one also however you like, and then you can glue it in here, and then this one gets glued on the outside. You can decorate this one with just stickers and pretty paper if you like, and we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more about completing it. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this. I've really enjoyed working with you girls and guys. Thanks. I'll see you again. Bye-bye.